Hey Tigers, welcome to episode 10 of TSC Talks here on Tiger Sports Central. My name is Jack Slayton and I'm joined by
Javyn Montgomery,
Taurean Daniels,
Ethan Murphy.
It has been quite some time before an episode that we have been able to film. So in today's episode, we are going to recap the last couple weeks of football, whether that's at the Bardstown level, at the college level, or in the National Football League. So we're going to get started by summarizing Bardstown's last 3 games. So they've played 3 games since we last had an episode, with one win and 2 losses. So first, Bardstown defeated Casey County 49-8. Then Garrett County defeated Bardstown 35-32, and I think that was an overtime game. And then Lexington Catholic defeated Bardstown 36-0. Javyn, how are you guys doing and feeling as we head into this bye week?
I'm kind of feeling okay, but we're not we could have won the last 2 of our 3 games. But like I said, it's not over yet, and just hope we make it far in the playoffs.
Yeah. So this is Bardstown's bye week. Bardstown does have a game next Friday on Halloween.
Senior night, by the way, too.
There you go. All right, moving on to college football. The first point that we as a group decided to talk about was James Franklin getting fired after Penn State lost 3 straight.
I mean, I feel like he's a good coach. I don't feel like he should get fired. I think you can't blame everything on the coach. You got to blame one of the players, too. I think Kentucky should pick him up, but I don't think they're going to get rid of Stoops. So, but I mean, I don't think he should have lost his job over the past few weeks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I haven't got to watch as much like Penn State football or college football as like a lot of you guys have, but just seeing like what he's done in his career as a whole, and then he gets fired for having 3 bad games, I didn't really agree with it.
I think the only reason he really got fired was because of the expectation. I think if he doesn't go on the run he did last year, which against inferior opponents really, I mean, they beat Boise State and SMU. I mean, that's really nothing to – yes, those are good teams, but that's not like the top elite tier of the nation. But, I mean, I think for the expectation, they were number 2 in the nation. So that expectation to go to the national championship was there, and they fell completely flat. I think if they were like 10 spots lower, he probably would still have a job. So I think that the expectation, especially for the program, was the reason he ultimately got cut. I still think he's a good coach. He definitely has quality in this game. I don't know where he'll go, really. So it's going to be interesting to see where that happens.
Okay. Moving on, how are you guys feeling about Indiana's rise?
I mean, they were good last year, so I mean, I get the hype, but it's also like they were in the playoffs last year, so they've been good. I'm just glad Michigan doesn't have to play them yet in the regular season.
Okay.
Because they look good.
I think for Indiana, I think what held them back last season was the fact that their Big Ten schedule last year was iffy, and when they did play a hard opponent in Ohio State that year, they lost. So, you know, them coming in this year going to Oregon, which is never an easy place to play, I still think Oregon's one of the best programs, in this nation. So I think that for Indiana, it really shows how good they are, and I could very well see a world, looking at their schedule, where they could even climb up to 1 if they're dominant enough. I really could see a world where that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's all that head coach. I think he's built the program there, and I think if you're an Indiana fan, you're happy that he's staying and you extended him. And then last but not least on college football, the ACC. There's been a lot of movement going on in the ACC. I think recently, Louisville, Javyn, big win for Louisville.
Yes, sir, baby. Beat the number 2 team in the nation.
There you go. So how are you guys feeling about the ACC as a whole? It's became a pretty tight race.
Yeah, for me, I think that, you know, every conference has its favorites to win it. You know, SEC, it's always going to be Alabama, Georgia. Those couple of teams are going to be in the mix. But for the ACC, I really don't know, because there are some really competitive teams. I mean, you got Virginia, who's on the up. You got Georgia Tech, who's undefeated. And then you got Louisville, who, against the Miami team that I thought was going to breeze through the conference, just looked terrible against a really good defense. So I think if Louisville keeps it up and Virginia loses a game, there really could be a possibility they're competing for a playoff spot in the ACC championship.
Georgia Tech looks good too, though. So
yeah, I said they're undefeated.
Undefeated.
I think
so they could do it, but I still think Miami's going to win the conference because, I mean, it's the ACC.
Don't hate on me. Don't hate on me.
We know Louisville. They could lose a couple easy games. that
Don't
they
hate on
should
them,
win.
man. Don't hate on
They
them.
might mess around and lose to Kentucky. We don't know
I
that.
hope not. That would be
no.
terrible.
I'm not gonna say they will, but I'm just saying they tend to lose a lot of easy games that they should win when they're up in playoff races.
Yeah, that run they went on a couple years ago, I think like 2 or 3, when they played Florida State in the ACC title, they had a lot of losses that probably could have put them, because at that time it was a 4-team, and they had really no chance of making the playoff. So I think that like if they won those games, there could have been a circumstance where they talked about them being in the college football playoff. And I think that as a program, they do tend to play down to competition a little bit. But they're still a very good team.
Yeah, that same season, that's the year they lost to Pitt. I mean, that's just like, you can't lose a Pitt if you want to win the ACC. You know what I mean? So they could still do it, but they lose a lot of games that they should win.
Yeah, I think that Louisville versus Kentucky game, I have a feeling that's going to be a big game. I could see Louisville winning out and then something happening in that Kentucky game that knocks them out of the playoff race. I hope that doesn't happen, but I could really see that happening. And you'd never hear the end of it from Kentucky fans.
Kentucky's one of those teams that is always kind of like in the games they play. I mean, that Texas game, yeah, Texas isn't as good as we thought, but they still put up a decent fight. So I could very well see a circumstance where they're just not winning the close games. And I don't think they will win the close games, but I do agree that Louisville game could prove to be a trap game of sorts for Louisville.
Yeah, I agree. Now moving on to the National Football League. So we're going to do something special for the 10th episode today. Since there has been so much going on since our last episode, what we're going to do is each person on our panel is going to really just talk about how their team performed. Of course, Taurean's a Lions fan, Javyn is a 49ers fan, I'm a Packers fan, and Ethan is a Buccaneers fan. Ethan, if you want to start us off by talking about the Buccaneers.
I think for Tampa, let's see, Seattle, San Francisco, and Detroit, those are 3 of some of the best teams in the NFC. Maybe not San Francisco as much anymore, only because of injuries.
Okay, boy.
I know.
Too comfortable. Too much
I just think
shit
that,
now.
you know, they're 3 very good teams, and I think that going into Detroit, that's never going to be easy. So I expected them to lose this game. Calm down. And so I think for that, but Baker Mayfield, I mean, especially in that San Francisco game, he was down a lot of his receivers. I think we had our wide receiver 5 through 7 in, and he balled out. And I think that
Yes, he did.
that really shows
I can give it to you right
the
there.
grit of him. But, you know, if I were to give a letter grade, I'd probably give a B+, because that Detroit game it wasn't demoralizing, but it was just kind of like that. It was bad. You know, I don't really have much to say on it, but, I mean, and then for the Seattle game, that was a good game all around. There were points where I thought we were going to lose because the defense did not look good against a really good Seattle offense, but I think that overall this is a good B+ stretch. And looking at the schedule ahead, I mean, it's not difficult, but it's not easy. You know, there are some tough teams that I'm sure we'll preview a couple games of. So I'm optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm not too high on Seattle, I'm not going to lie. I mean, they have a great receiver, but I just don't see what else they have. Their run game, they got 2 okay running backs. I'm not that high on Seattle. Like, I could see, like, I think they'll make the playoffs. I just haven't seen anything from them that's like, wow, they're a contender, or wow, they're a team to watch out for. But next, I will talk about the Packers, their recent games. So the Packers, we had our bye week, and then we beat the Bengals and the Cardinals. The Bengals and Cardinals game, I will say those 2 games were closer than you would want them to be. It was a win, so at the end of the day, a win is a win. But I do think seeing the Thursday night game between the Bengals and the Steelers was it was good to see as a Packers fan, seeing that maybe the Bengals team that you beat the Sunday before isn't as bad as we thought they were. They beat the Steelers. It was a good game with the Steelers. They went back and forth really, but good showing there from Cincinnati. So that win looks better to me now in hindsight than it did at the time. And then the Cardinals game, people are sleeping on the Cardinals. I'm not going to lie. I only say that. I'm only saying that because of Jacoby Brissett. They went back-to-back, almost beat the number 1 seed in both the AFC and the NFC. There is no other team that is going almost beating the 1 seed in both the NFC and the AFC. Sure, they didn't win. Sure, it's the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't great, but I think they're not going to start him. They're not going to go forward with him, I don't think. But he has kind of been like a breath of fresh air for that team, even though they've been losing. So, sure, it hasn't been great from the Packers. There's been some players on our team, like our secondary's they did not look great in that Cardinals game. Nate Hobbs has not really turned out. He's someone we picked up from Las Vegas this last season. Keyshawn Nixon had a bad game, but that's expected. He's had a lot of really good games that's helped the Packers out a lot, and you got to have a bad game here and there. And then I think the big thing that Packers fans are discussing is the play calling. I think a lot of people are upset with the play calling, mostly coming from our head coach. So it'll be curious to see how that works. Our new president, Ed Policy, did say that Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst, our GM's jobs are not secured. So that could be something to look into for Green Bay as they head into their contract year. So Green Bay, I'm going to give them a B+. I think they solidified themselves. They bounced back from that Browns game and that tie against Dallas. But not pretty wins, but at the end of the day, they were wins. All right, Javyn, you want to talk about the Niners?
Nah, I'm playing. We did the Buccaneers game. I really don't want to talk about it. I'm saying pitiful. End of discussion. But the Falcons game, my boy, number 23, CMC. Hey, he's a monster. He couldn't be stopped all night. I'm saying put up 40 points for me in fantasy. Like, fantasy. That's what him and Jamar Chase really want me to set the tone for me in fantasy.
You got McCaffrey and Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so like, you know what I mean? I be cheating.
Who is in that league?
Back to what I was saying, the Falcons really, who they played the week before they beat?
We already talked, it was the LA Rams.
Yeah.
It was a Thursday game.
Yeah, but I don't got much to say. But I'll give the 49ers a B-.
Okay. Javyn, I got a question for you. Going into the playoffs, 49ers making this playoff run, who do you want to be leading the Niners, Brock Purdy or Mac Jones?
The Macity Jones.
Okay.
He really improved himself this year. A little bit.
He loves CMC, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? I mean, he's doing all that. I'd give him the ball.
There you go.
But he is missing out on my boy George Kittle, too, though.
Mm-hmm.
He really ain't giving him the ball, but it's something we need to look into.
There you go. And we saved the worst for last. Taurean, you want to talk about the Detroit Lions?
I love to talk about the Detroit Lions. So we can skip past the Bengals game for real. It was a good game. Defense, well, I mean, we came in there expecting to win. Defense didn't do as good as I thought they were going to do. But that Chiefs game, I'm not going to say the refs, everything, you know.
Shit.
We lost the game. It's hard to go into the Chiefs. It's hard to go into Arrowhead on a primetime night game and win. But to get no calls, as an NFL team to get 0 calls the entire game, that's insane. Like, am I right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Looks like great game management from Andy Reid.
No, don't ever say that. You already know that game was not fair, but we lost. We'll take that on our chin like a man. We lost that. Now, that Buccaneers game, as Ethan said, it was embarrassing if I'm a Buccaneers fan. I mean, Baker Mayfield overthrowing receivers, and then you could say we didn't have our starting receivers. We didn't have a starting secondary player from week 1. Y'all got locked up by Whiteside. Do you know who Whiteside is? No.
Heard of him.
Never heard. You ain't heard him before last week? I can tell you that. He was in the UFL. I don't know if y'all knew that. You might have heard of him. He was in the UFL. Locking up NFL receivers, I mean, like, that's pitiful. Baker Mayfield missing wide open throws. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs killed y'all. We didn't even need to pass the ball because we had Jahmyr Gibbs.
It wasn't MVP Jared Goff.
It was MVP Jahmyr Gibbs. As I said, we can pull that clip up too. MVP Jahmyr Gibbs.
You know who tried to kill someone?
Before? Huh?
Yeah, you did kind of have to put our franchise legend in the hospital to really beat us, but I mean.
You know who did that? Baker Mayfield overthrowing it, making him go out and get
that.
Oh,
it was because he overthrew it. It wasn't the fact that the guy was on top of him and crushed his shoulder and gave him a concussion.
Hey, I don't make the rules. I wasn't there. All I know is We killed them. Jahmyr Gibbs, 200 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra, touchdown. I mean, it was a great day.
Talk to us about that angry, uncalled-for attack from the Lions player Brian Branch on the innocent, loving, and caring Juju Smith-Schuster.
So if we're going to play that clip, which you might, you can also play the clip of Brian Branch getting absolutely blindside blocked. Just straight blocked in the back with no, like the play was over and he gets blocked in the back. Obviously, Brian Branch angry. I don't think he should have went up and slapped him, but he did, and he beat him up. As we saw, Juju was
he
bleeding.
leaking? Like, was he leaking?
He was bleeding. He had him on the ground dragging him like
Like
two
a
little
dog.
girls, like girls were fighting.
Ooh.
Like literally was dragging him.
Juju Smith.
And I mean, he smacked him. Getting smacked and bleeding through the helmet, you must have got really smacked right there. But it was called for. Sorry.
I don't recall that blindside block happening. Do you, Ethan?
Look, I'm going to be honest with you.
We all saw the clip. by the
No,
way.
I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but if I watch a Chiefs game and they're winning, I'm usually not paying attention. I'm just being so honest with you. Like,
Okay.
I'm just at that point now where I just don't watch the Chiefs.
That's right. But I can see the clip if you need it because obvious blindside block.
Well, it has to be. We'll discuss that off.
Yeah.
This is post-production discussion.
But no, I give us with the defense that we had, I give us an A.
Okay.
Just just an A.
And I will give you that Kansas City is on the up. I mean,
Yeah,
they're not
up.
the same team we saw the first 3 weeks, and as much as I don't want to say the Lions are good, you kind of have to.
Yep. Number 1 team in the league right now.
They will probably make a run for that division.
Yeah, make a run for the division. That's about it.
Yeah.
The division that the Packers are in. So if we
I-
win that, we beat the Packers.
I'm just saying. I mean, I hate to say it, the Lions. They're looking like they have the last couple of years. That hasn't turned out for them really at all. But maybe it'll work out in their favor this year. It hasn't worked out for the Packers either. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting race in the NFC North, and the NFL as a whole is really shaping up to be an interesting playoff race. But we will talk more about that on our episode later this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.
All right, so the Super Bowl.